The Silent Manor. It was an old manor, nestled deep in the woods, far away from any semblance of civilization. The locals spoke of it in hushed tones, calling it the Silent Manor. A century ago, it belonged to the Wainwright family, a wealthy clan that vanished overnight without a trace. Some said it was a curse, others believed something darker was at play. But no one knew for sure because no one who went to investigate ever returned. Claire didn't believe in ghost stories. As a journalist, she thrived on facts and had no patience for superstition. So, when she heard of the manor, she saw it as an opportunity, a chance to prove that there was no such thing as curses, ghosts, or haunted houses. Her editor loved the idea. It would be the perfect piece to boost readership. Claire parked her car and grabbed her camera and notebook. She hesitated for a moment, staring at the old wooden door that seemed almost to dare her to enter. Taking a deep breath, she pushed it open and stepped inside. The air was thick with dust, and the smell of damp wood and decay filled her nostrils. The grand entryway was dimly lit by the few rays of sunlight that managed to pierce through the dirt-covered windows. She could see the remnants of what was once a luxurious home: ornate chandeliers, faded wallpaper, and cracked marble floors. Claire began her exploration, taking photos and jotting down notes. The house was eerily silent, not a creak or groan of the old wood, not even the sound of her footsteps seemed to echo in the vastness of the rooms. She wandered deeper into the manor, moving from room to room, feeling the weight of the silence growing heavier. It was in the library that she first heard Ida's soft, distant whisper. She froze, straining to hear more, but the sound was gone as quickly as it had come. Dismissing it as her imagination, she continued her exploration. Then, she heard it again, a little louder this time a child's giggle. Claire's heart began to race. She knew she was alone, she had checked every room. Yet the giggle seemed to come from just around the corner. She followed the sound, her breath quickening, her palms sweating. The giggle led her to a narrow staircase that spiraled down into darkness. Claire hesitated but then turned on her flashlight and descended. The air grew colder with every step, and the shadows seemed to lengthen around her. The stairs led to a small, dimly lit basement. The air was thick, almost suffocating, and there was a strange smell, a mix of old earth and something metallic, like blood. At the far end of the basement, she saw a door, barely hanging on its hinges. The whispering grew louder now, and Claire could hear words but couldn't make them out. She felt a strange compulsion, like something was pulling her toward that door. Her hands trembled as she reached for the handle and pushed it open. Inside, she found a small room with a single, flickering light bulb hanging from the ceiling. The walls were covered in children's drawings, but these were not the innocent scribbles of a child. They were dark, depicting shadowy figures, bleeding eyes, and twisted, monstrous faces. In the center of the room, there was a small, wooden chair, and on it sat a doll. The doll was old, with faded clothes and matted hair. Its glassy eyes seemed to stare straight at Claire, and its painted smile looked too wide, too knowing. Claire felt a cold sweat break out on her forehead. She stepped closer, trying to shake off the feeling of dread that was creeping up her spine. Then, the whispering stopped. The silence was deafening. Claire reached out to touch the doll, curious about its unsettling aura. The moment her fingers brushed its porcelain skin, the door slammed shut behind her with a force that shook the walls. The doll was no longer on the chair. It was standing in the middle of the room, its head tilted to one side, its glassy eyes fixed on her. Claire's breath caught in her throat. She backed up against the door, her hand fumbling for the handle. The doll took a step forward. Its tiny feet made a soft tapping sound on the cold concrete floor. Claire felt her legs turn to jelly. She grabbed the doorknob and twisted with all her might, but it wouldn't budge. The doll took another step, then another. Claire felt something brush past her, a cold breeze, and then she heard Ida's soft, childlike voice whispering in her ear, "Stay with me forever." Claire screamed, banging on the door, desperate to get out. The doll was moving faster now, its smile growing wider, almost stretching unnaturally across its face. The whispering grew louder, more voices joining in, overlapping and echoing in her mind. Suddenly, the light bulb flickered and went out, plunging the room into complete darkness. Claire's screams echoed through the basement, but above them, she heard the children's laughter, a chorus of giggles, rising in pitch and volume until it was all she could hear. Then, silence. When the locals found Claire's car abandoned at the edge of the woods days later, they knew where she had gone, but no one dared to search for her. They whispered among themselves about the Silent Manor and the curse that lingered there, waiting for its next victim. A month later, a new family moved into the small town. They had a young daughter, curious and brave, who loved to explore. One day, she wandered too close to the edge of the woods and found a path leading to an old, forgotten manor. She was never seen again.